welcome back to another episode of Honest Feedback.
Yes, we're so happy you guys decided to tune in, or we're forcing you, whatever.
Either way, we're happy you're here.
Yes.
Spending your precious time with us. I'm Lisset King.
I'm Brittney King.
And we're here to help some people out, you know, just be of service, be a good friend. We're just here to be a good friend to anyone who needs it, anyone who can use, you know, that friend that like you go to them when you don't want the bullshit, when you want to like actually move through something. That's hopefully us.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
with love.
With love.
Firm love.
Yes. Yeah. We'll give you that honest feedback with love.
Yes.
And that's what's important. So this week, I think we're going to focus on, do we know for sure it's on friendship?
I think it's a hodgepodge. So let's just get on into it.
All right.
I think it's a little bit of everything in this.
All right. This week's a little bit of everything. We're going to help some people out. Somebody slid in 2 questions.
Oh.
Naughty, but we're still going to help her out. All right.
I think if you have like a question, it's a part A, part B. As long as you're not standing at a microphone with a long line of people, it's usually okay.
Yeah, totally. We'll help you in an A-B type situation. So, yeah. All right. We're going to take our first caller today.
Cool.
Hey, Brittney and Lisset. My name is Jess, and I have an issue that I wanted to share with you guys. I am gay. That's not the issue, but I'm also single, and I'm not really feeling like emotionally ready for my next relationship. But all of my close friends around me are currently dating someone, and most of them are like with someone that is like the love of their life, and I'm finding myself feeling extra lonely because I don't have someone that I'm even like remotely interested in really that I'm talking to. And I see, you know, even my roommates, both of them are in happy relationships, and you know, their significant others over at the house every day, which is fine, and great, and I'm happy for them. And at the same time, I'm feeling like this stress and anxiety about being single and like feeling alone. I'm like having trouble like, and feel like I'm like comparing like where I'm at in my life to like where my friends are at. And even though I'm not really like feeling extremely ready for a relationship, nor do I have anyone that is on the radar, it's just like I can't help but like compare my loneliness to other people's like happy, healthy relationship. In addition, I feel like because I don't have a significant other, like I can't like, you know, go on a double date or whatever. And I feel like, I think I'm feeling anxious because I feel like I'm going to be excluded from things unless I find someone. I just wanted to get some feedback on how to deal with being single while my friends are in relationships, and how to deal with friendships that may or may not be slipping away, but feel like they are slipping away. I just want to have happy, healthy relationships with my friends, and hopefully be able to bring that to a romantic partner when I meet the right person. Thanks.
Wow.
Oh, that was amazing.
I know, Jess. Wow. Thank you. Like, this is deep cuts vulnerable. Like, I do not take this lightly. Thank you so much for trusting us to offer you support in your time of need.
That's a rough one. That's a real world problem. Can you relate to this?
Yes, Jess. I can relate. I feel you. I feel your struggle. Oh, loneliness it's like an emotion that's like insidious, because it's like one experiences and you feel sad, but then also it's like, I don't want to share it because then people are going to go, oh, and like, no, that's not true. And you're like, it fucking is true. I'm by myself alone day after day.
Yeah.
So I super resonate with the feeling of like loneliness and feeling the comparison of like, everybody else is having these kinds of experiences. I should be having these kinds of experiences. I will let you all in on a secret. I lost my virginity very late in life, compared to a lot of my peers. And I was very much feeling like, is this ever going to happen for me? There's something deeply wrong with me. Everybody else is having fun without me. I'm not going to be invited to their sex parties because I'm a virgin. That's only half true. But definitely the dates, you know? Yeah. I really, really resonated with the loneliness and like the stress of anxiety of comparing oneself to who are your peers and like being happy for your people, but also being like, I'm happy for you and also like sad for me. What did you think?
Well, just the poison that is comparison, you know, because you have, first of all, you're like, everyone's with their love of their life. Come on. As you know, you're gay. Everyone is with their love of their life for those 3 weeks. Maybe. I mean, it does happen. However, I'm just speaking from experience. Everyone was the love of my life for those few weeks or a few months. So there's a comparison of what you think is going on. It's the social media dilemma. Everyone is giving you their highlight reel. No one's coming at you with like the problems that there are, how challenging it is to be in a relationship and how it is to grow with people. So I would start with saying, don't believe the hype, like that everyone's having such wonderful relationships and still have a lot of, you know, compassion for what you're going through, of feeling like everyone is in their dream relationship and you're not. And the fact that you're willing to take a step back and not be in a relationship when you're not ready, a lot of people that don't do that. They just, you know, they monkey bar from one relationship to another and nothing is changing. It's the same person with a different name tag. And because they're the same person, because they haven't done the growth work necessary to grow into their next relationship. So the fact that you even want to take a pause before you're with your person increases the likelihood that your next person is going to last a lot longer.
I just want to also offer in, say these people who are your great friends are with the love of their lives.
Okay.
And their things are very exciting. Like, nobody knows the future, but it sounds like you're saying you're surrounded by a lot of people in thriving relationships. So to me, what that clues in is like a hotter, colder situation. Perhaps you're getting warmer. You're getting warmer. You're getting closer to what's actually in alignment with you because you're resonating and vibrating with people. You're like, well, they're in a happy relationship and close friend here is in a happy relationship and close friend here is in a happy relationship. Like, I've definitely been in the situation where it's like, you know, the birds of the feather flock together. So it's like, hey, the people around me, everyone's life seems to be drama, and terrible relationship after terrible relationship. But what it sounds like you're describing is a lot of what seem like great relationships and really fruitful. So you might be closer than you think. And I definitely honor, like, if you don't feel ready for making those kind of commitments, growth work, whatever, however it is that you wish to design a romantic relationship that you wish to be in, like, take in the things that you really like admire and be like, okay, these are things that really resonate with me. And you can leave the rest, you know, like it can be both, but like comparison is a thief of joy. Comparing yourself to others, I think sets you up. It's like a double whammy. One, you get jealous or you experience feelings of like, maybe I'm not doing enough. And two, you might set the bar of what someone else has as where you should be going, where your path may be completely over that way, or your path may be completely up here. And you're like, well, I need to get what they have. But actually what's in store for you, what's actually like in your future is way better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It might be way better, but because you're comparing yourself to like so-and-so, you're like, this is the bar. This is the bar that I have to meet. And your bar could be way higher. It could be way different.
Yeah, totally. And I think expressing to your friends, also that I heard the, you don't want to make matters worse, but you do want to discuss it. Definitely just talk to if they're good friends, which I'm sure they are, they will hear you and understand. Because you're not born into a relationship. Everyone knows what it's like to be single at some point and how challenging that contrast is. So if you sit and talk to your friends about what you're going through and just being like, hey, I just want to feel a little more included, or is there any way we can have like just a friend date? Can we have like a platonic date? Can we just have, my buddy and I would always say, can we just have bro time, like without any of our partners, and just like hang out by ourselves, to like claim back that individual friendship time that you need and you desire from your friends. Like, it's totally okay to do that. Britt and I are both friends with a lot of people, and we have managed to keep our individual relationships with people. Like, Brittany will have her alone time with a friend, and I'll have my alone time with a friend, and I think the same friend, and it's really good because it's not like they don't enjoy having us both together. They just also enjoy experiencing us alone, and it actually makes the person feel better. Like, I feel good when they want to just hang out with me.
Yeah.
And
I'm not offended when somebody's like, I want to hang out with her.
I'm only a little offended.
Hey, that's real.
Yeah, but that's real.
That's real.
No, just kidding. Yeah, and you could start hanging out with more single people, but I think it's wonderful that you are hanging out with people that have thriving relationships. You brought up a really good point. You're surrounded with people with thriving relationships. It just means it's in your field and it's coming closer. And there's something to be said of like appreciating and admiring where they are rather than feeling jealousy, because the jealousy and resentment really just kind of pushes that further away from you energetically. Where if you're like, oh, that is a beautiful thing and I desire that as well, if you do that, it will call it in. Like,
you know what I also feel like jealousy does? It's an opportunity for you to give to yourself the thing that you are desiring. So perhaps it's like, hey, they're partners. There's intimacy there. How can I create intimacy with myself? How can I create different kinds of intimacy in the relationships I already have? You know, whether that's like, hey, I really enjoy touch. Like, can me and my friends have a cuddle puddle? Like, hey, I really enjoy like taking walks. Like, it's like, oh, they take walks together. It's like, can I join for a walk and have deep convo? Or is there a friend somewhere else you could call and go on a walk together? Like, you know, like, where can you fill your own cup with? When you're jealous, there's a lot of like, they have this thing and I don't have this thing. But nothing's ever lost. So how can you also experience the thing that you're desiring?
yes. I just want to bring it back to, it was comparison, not jealousy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then never mind. We can cut this part out.
Yeah. What you were saying was about comparison. When you find yourself comparing yourself to what you admire in other people's lives, bringing that into and feeding yourself, and finding, if you desire intimacy with, because that's what you see, then bringing a little more intimacy in with your friends, or sometimes just calling a friend to cry with, because you think that's something you can only have in relationship. It's a beautiful space, and you'd be surprised how many of your friends would be willing to hold that for you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that too. All right.
Oh, they asked specifically, what can I do to feel better?
So really what you can do to feel better, it's hard. You know, there's a lot of, it was in your language. There's like, I don't want this and I don't want that. And so I urge you to find what you do want. Like, what is it that you want? Do you want more time with your friends? Ask for that. Do you want more bro time where it's just you hang out with a friend without their partner? You can do that. Or if you want to hang out with a couple, just say, hey, would it be okay if you invited me to this event? And your friends, they love you, so they'd probably be receptive to that. They'd be a lot more receptive than you think.
Yeah.
All right, ready for our next caller?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Hi, Britt and Lisset. This is Sweet Pea, she, her pronouns, and I have 2 questions for you. My first question is this. One of my best friends takes things very personally. If people make mistakes or if somebody tells her something, she can tend to make it a big deal and kind of blow it out of proportion. And then she'll text me about it for an hour or so and just speak not so kindly about the people she's talking to. And sometimes these people are our best friends, our family, etc. I understand being upset, and I understand if someone has made you uncomfortable. But also, I know that words are powerful, and we should be conscious about how we speak about others and ourselves. How do you navigate this? I am usually a very positive person, and I don't want to trash talk our best friends anymore. My second question is this. Some of my loved ones deal with bouts of sadness or depression. How do you talk to people who are in bouts of depression, but you're in a really, really good mood, and you don't want to give up your good mood, but you don't want to ignore them either? Thanks for the advice.
Well, these are great questions.
These are great questions. Yeah. Should we take them one at a time?
Yes. Let's talk about taking things personally.
Yes. And what I understand is this person, their friend, takes things very personally and brings it to her.
And then drags them through the mud.
And she doesn't like doing that. She's not a mud dragger.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have been both people in this situation. I have been the person who's really taken things personal. I'm like, how dare they make that choice for their life? Do they know how this affects me? And I've also been the other person who's been like, I don't wish to talk about this person anymore. Like, this feels not productive and it doesn't feel good anymore. And I definitely remember us being shit talkers together, and like, that's just not how I want to live my life anymore. So like, how do I transition? So I feel like this is complex.
It is complex.
I guess my 2 cents would be, talk to your friend, the one who's the in-between friend, and say, I don't wish to have these kinds of conversations. Like, I'm here for you. I love you. And it doesn't feel good for me to be discussing other people who aren't here. I totally understand venting and things like that. And I would really feel better if there was another friend or other support system that you could go to when you're experiencing these feelings of frustration. Like, I love you and I love you and.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. I, too, am a recovering shit talker, and it really helped when I had a friend actually feed that back to me. It was the first time someone actually said, hey, you kind of talk a lot of shit. And I was like, oh, you make a good point. And it like hit me, and I sat with it, and it was really challenging. And what it did for me was it helped me, brought awareness and created a space for me to, first of all, not go to that person anymore. Out of respect. Which is what you want. Yeah. So I stopped going to that person out of respect of like, they asked me not to. And also really reevaluate why I was talking about people when they weren't in the room, you know, and having friends that have hold beautiful space for their friends and reverence has made me step it up. Yeah. So I think for you, the benefit would be to be completely honest with this person and say, hey, I can maybe hold 2 minutes of venting. And then if you want to move through this problem, I'll be here to help you move through it. But if you don't want to move through it, is there someone else you can call to do that?
Yes, I definitely want to reiterate there's a difference between moving through something and asking someone to hold space and speaking about a situation while taking responsibility for your actions and not necessarily dragging someone through the mud or, low blows, like shit, things that are just, you wouldn't probably say to their face, or if you did, it would be a big fight, like a Real Housewives kind of fight. So like, there's a difference of like, can you hold space for me as I'm trying to process something, an experience I had with a person, versus like, let me tell you about what this bitch did and da 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 and da 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 and da da da. They're like 2 different energies and 2 different vibrations. And I've definitely have had this experience. I shared with a friend a longtime friend who we definitely were big shit talkers together, go to brunch and everything. It was like, talk about everybody. And I shared with her, I was like, hey, I love you and I love spending time with you. And this is no longer the way I wish to spend my time. Is there a different way that we can connect?
Yeah.
You know? And
how'd it go?
she was not in this time willing to meet me there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to be okay with that. And I've also taken a step back from that relationship. But what I knew was true for me was to continue to participate in it made me feel icky. I just felt icky.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel good. And I was just like, I choose to feel better. I choose to operate in integrity of like what feels best for me. And shit talking people does not feel best for me anymore. And like I send her all the love and I hope she's well. And I chose to take a step back from that relationship. So, and I've also have heard of other people having different experiences. This was just the time I tried that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's difficult to stay in friendships that aren't feeding your soul or the part of you that wants expansion. So I think it's really important to honor yourself through your growth and deciding who you want to be in a friendship. Participating and listening to stuff also is participating in it. And so as you start to move forward and move away from that, it's possible some friendships will fall away. That's the hard truth about it, is that sometimes you do lose a friendship or two. However, the more you expand your consciousness and the way you want to communicate with people, I promise you there are more people that are there at that level. There's no shortage of people that want to vibrate higher.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that kind of leads us to the sadness, depression.
Yeah.
And not letting that take your mood down. Do you want to say anything about this?
As a person who has experienced depression, I understand what an isolating place it could be. In my experience of my depression, it didn't upset me for other people to be happy. I was just very, very sad. And so I guess what I would encourage is, can you play in a space of both? Of like, you don't have to dim your light and you don't have to make yourself sad. And can you listen and hold space for like the thing that I'm going through that is sad and hard? Because for me, it took me a long time to even start communicating with friends that I was experiencing depression, because I was afraid of letting people down and not being a good friend and no one's going to want to be around me and all these different things. And I was just like, well, eventually I started making the request, and I had a lot of friends who were able to meet me there and just hold space and listen. And for me, it was not a requirement that they become less bright, less shiny. I wanted good things for my friends. I wanted them to experience good things. I want you to be happy. And so I feel like that, knowing that your friend doesn't want you to come down to the depressed level to be with them, I think might be something to keep in mind.
Yes.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Well, I'm resonating with a lot that you say. I would say, depending on where your mood is, right? You're saying you're like someone who likes to be in a good mood. And sometimes that's fragile and that's precious. If I'm having a down day and I want to stay there, I will listen to sad music and give myself the feedback loop that I need to just be in that space. And then also there's sometimes I'm in a good mood and it's the first time in a while I've been in a good mood, and I have to, it's like my precious, like I can't I'm super careful who I talk to in those moments and those days. So depending on where you are, if you're like in a good mood and can hold it, then sure. However, be careful with your energy and don't always just give it away.
That's true.
You don't always have to be at service of other people. If you're in a good mood and you're like, I'm really loving this right now, it's okay to tell a friend, hey, I'm not in a space right now to hold this. And maybe you can create parameters with this friend where you're like, I want to be able to support you, and I also need to be able to hold my own space and my own boundary of when I need to just be okay. Could we have a code word? Could we have could an ask that we have between each other? Hey, I'm in it right now. I've actually have this system in place with friends where it's like, I'm having a shit day. Can you just hold me in like my victimhood for a few minutes? And they can either do it or not. They have a right to say no.
Yeah.
And then I'll splurge. I'll get it out. And they're like, okay, are you ready to shift? And I'm like, yes. Or actually, I'm like, no, I want to stay there. So I'll get off the phone with them. But if I want to shift, then they offer me that space to shift. So it's, again, it all comes back to having these honest conversations with your friends and setting expectations of how you want to navigate going forward so that you can either maintain the friendship or in harder times, you might have to let them go.
Yeah. Or love them from afar.
Yes.
Some people, they have very powerful energy vortexes, and it can feel like an energetic vampire. So when it's like, hey, if I'm interacting with this person, it really feels like it's leeching my energy. It's in a way where I feel really drained after. And you may love this person, and you can love them from further away. It might have to be different kinds of boundaries of like, hey, I'm going to send you loving messages when I can. But like being in direct space with you doesn't feel good for me right now. Like I'm not saying these are easy things to say, but I am saying that every time I have stepped into these kind of conversations and shared my truth, I have felt better and I've been able to navigate better.
Yeah.
And live my life better. Because you cannot control somebody else's reaction, but you can always love someone from further away if that's what's being called for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also wanted to add, it sounds to me just from your two questions that you're someone who holds a lot of space for people in your life. And I just want to ask you, are you holding yourself? And is there anyone who can hold you?
Oof. Are you holding yourself?
Yes.
Get out of here. Yes.
Yeah, because it's a lot. As I know, I'm someone in my friends' lives that they come to for a lot of things. And luckily, I have very strong containers. We have this analogy amongst my friends that we're like bowls. We hold each other at different times, and we stack at different times so that we have the space to hold each other at different times.
And be held.
Yeah. You don't have to be the bottom stack of the bowl every time or the biggest bowl.
Or Louisa.
Yes. Encanto. If you haven't seen it, plug right here.
Yes. Encanto. Immediately, if not sooner.
Yeah. We're not affiliated with Disney yet.
Yeah.
Holla at us, Disney.
Yes. Lin-Manuel, specifically.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Well, Sweet Pea, you are a Sweet Pea, and we hope that you're really taking care of yourself and willing to have the honest conversations with your friends so that you're taking care of your own energy, because you deserve that.
I feel like, a lot of your advice is like, be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of shocking. That's the theme.
Be honest.
Hopefully we're in episode 300 and people are still calling us even though they know they're going to get that piece of advice.
Hey, sometimes it never hurts to ask and be reminded.
Yes.
I need reminders all the time being like, hey, yo, da-da-da-da.
Have you tried honesty?
Have you tried honesty?
It's like resetting a phone.
Yes.
Oh, my phone's glitching. Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on?
Yes.
It's just good advice.
Yeah.
Something's itchy, wash it. Have you tried washing it? Yeah, I went there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. We're going to leave that there. Thank you all for joining us for another week of honest feedback, and we cannot wait to hear from you. We would love for you to leave us a voice memo using a voice memo app, and you can email it to us at thekings@honestfeedbackpodcast.com. Give us your name, your pronouns if that feels good for you. It could be a real name, a pseudonym, a flourish.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you want to call yourself.
Whatever
You
you
could
wanna
be
call
a
it.
sound, a
Okay.
symbol.
Yeah.
Sure.
If it's a symbol, I will do my best in post to put it up here.
Yes.
But also, this is an audio and visual podcast. So if you're on the audio and it's a symbol, we will do our best.
I just want to say we respect all identities.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So however you want to represent, come on through the inbox. And
Yes.
if we have a phone number, I think we have one by now.
We should have one by now. And it's probably right here.
Yes, I think it's here in this lower third.
Hopefully. By now.
Watch it be up there.
Yeah, watch it be up there. Wherever it is, use this number.
Use this number. You can reach out to us. Just know you are loved. You are not alone.
Yeah.
Honesty is the way.
Yeah.
Honesty is the way.
Honesty is the way. All right.
Take care.
Bye.
For those listening, our number is 971-895-4111. Call us.
Yeah.